Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for SUI render and FET price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start with SUI on the 4 hours chart here, where we are still looking, of course, for this pressure of selling. We see, of course, the leading diagonal in wave 1 here potentially, or wave A. Of course, it can be an A, B, and a C, but the wave C is, of course, still unfinished. Or in case that it is a wave 3, it can be also finished potentially over there, and we're looking currently for a wave 4 and a 5 continuation towards the downside. So we have kind of a confirmation that this is a kind of a corrective, and we're still looking for lower, especially that the 886 is taken several times here. We don't have yet, of course, a confirmation for something really bullish. It can be, of course, a simply sideways or a simply an ABC, and then continuation for lower prices sooner or later. Now today, we saw, of course, a drop down again, of course, before reaching even the one-to-one fib level here as a potential A, B, and a C. So this flat that we got here, or a zigzag, I would say, because it is impulsive. The impulse that we got for the wave C here is, of course, still can be unfinished, because, of course, you have 1, 2, 3 here, 4 and a 5 for a wave 3. Can be also like finished in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because no invalidation as well given there. And we see, of course, something very impulsive again, which is a signal, of course, of weakness. And we might still see, of course, something pushing for lower prices. Now, this impulse towards the downside, where we see here double 1, 2, wave 3, 4, 5, 4, and a 5. Now, this wave 5 is finishing up here as a potential ending diagonal, where you have a zigzag 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So there is no yet also signals for strength again. Unfortunately, of course, as this drop is impulsive, and it's looking that it might, of course, at least here unfold something new potentially. But the problem is also that nothing is very impulsive from the start here. Meaning, if you want to consider that this is as an impulse wave 5, well, it's also very hard to consider it, because, of course, you cannot see, of course, any kind of 5 waves there, impulsive. And also you got invalidation anyway in this area, where you hit anyway with the wave 4, you enter the zone 1, meaning there is nothing really impulsive. And also the wave 3, by the way, is totally overlapped, yeah, so nothing is impulsive inside it. And wave 3 cannot be a diagonal, of course. So by all means, everything is still corrective. It is a complex structure, and we still, of course, find some complexity here. Now, it can be something like A, B, C, D, and an E, and we can push for lower here. But the thing is, you have like W, X, and a Y in of course, in this triangle that it is unfolding as a wave Y. But yeah, the things can still be, of course, very complex, and pushing a little bit for higher in case the one-to-one fib level might still be taken there, and that this wants to still, of course, to play as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a wave 3 here, you would like to see anyway a 1, 2. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3, then 4 and a 5 to reach the 1.83 can be also very, very likely. If we get also a little bit from the indicator here on the 1 minute chart, now we see, of course, a lot of bullish signals on the 1 minute chart here for SUI, where we see, of course, this push toward the upside. But from the first sell signal given after it here, we see, of course, this massive push toward the downside, which is very, very interesting. Now we see, of course, a new bullish signal, but of course, don't forget that there is no divergence like here. Yeah, we start to see the divergence within the price and the CVD line, and we see continuity here a little bit, and then, of course, pushing the last push before getting this bear signal, and pushing, of course, for something impulsive. By all means, of course, the things might still be looking for lower sooner or later. Can be something also, as we mentioned, of course, as a triangle here unfolding WX and a wave Y, A, B, C, D, and an E, and then pushing for lower. Again, one more low. But with this one more low, I would say, because we're going to reset all this price here, so very, very likely to push for higher again. This is regarding SUI. If we push for render, On render, we are looking, of course, after this complex structure as a triangle, the ABCDE. We finished a wave B, of course, as a correction here, and we're looking for a wave C or a wave Y, of course, in case it is a W, X, and a Y, but very likely to be a wave C here, especially, of course, that it looks like kind of like a diagonal over there. But the problem is also that you have a big wave there within the wick here, which I cannot really consider all of it, but still can be possible in case you want to consider also a big diagonal here, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. This can be a case scenario as well. But even if we got the reaction there in our blue box as expected here, we still don't see like really strong move toward the upside, right? So we still see some struggling here within the price and the complex sideways, right? So we see a 1, a 2, and then 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, right? So I'm still expecting, of course, something higher to push. But yeah, I mean, if this is a wave 4 right now, it should come back, of course, to the previous wave 4 since we have double 1, 2 anyway. But of course, the things are a little bit hard to say on the 50-minute chart because it is very impulsive and it looks like it's still looking for one more low to finish the double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and a 5. And if this is an impulse, you have to expect, of course, even lower prices to unfold. So the things are already, of course, very clear for us from here, from this very long sideways range, that nothing is really very impulsive. It can be the correction here finished even before hitting the 1-to-1 fib level. It's a weakness at the end, and we might, of course, continue the drop for a new low, guys, here. It might be your 1-2 here is playing a 3, 4, and a 5. Still, the blue box can be reached again, of course, with a new low, and it can, of course, finish kind of like a structure. Finally, probably this gonna be like a zigzag in case you want to consider a 1, 2, 3 here, and then 4 and a 5. Yeah, so it can be kind of like this. Wave 5 can be finishing inside this blue box. Yep, so this is regarding also render, nothing yet, of course, strong for the bullish. For the FET, also, I would say very close to render. We have the complex structure W, X, and Y, or you have the A and the B here as a triangle, and then the wave C. What is different with FET is that you got already 3 ways down here, and then another 3 ways up. Yeah, so you got kind of like a W, X, and a potential wave Y, or we are here in an A, B, and a C toward the downside. The wave C is unfolding also as diagonal, but the diagonal here is kind of like extending. Yeah, so it is extending, and I can call here something like that, meaning a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Still to reach, of course, our blue box 0.618, 0.17 dollars. It can be, of course, even finishing up a wave Y there. Can be an ABC in case it wants to dive deeper. So this blue box is still, of course, to be watched. I think that one more low also is very likely since you can see those 2 lows are very close, and one more low can unfold something maybe stronger toward the upside. Yep, so these are the insights for SUI, Render, and FET. Lower prices are to be expected. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.